So let's start the class by solving this simple question. This question is given to you just to get a fresh, start of the day. Very simple question, very straightforward question. Solve it. Take 3-4 minutes and solve it. It is such a straightforward question. You can actually give the answer without drawing diagram also. It is such a straightforward question. But I will draw diagram, even though, frankly, in such simple questions, we can solve it even without drawing diagram. So this is it, LR circuit. The inductance value is given. But here I'll not write inductance value. I will write XL value. XL value. Well, this source voltage was 220 volt, comma 50 hertz. That means frequency of this source voltage is 220 hertz. First of all, what will be XL? XL is simply omega into L. It is not 1 by omega into L. It is simply omega into L. Omega is 2 pi f into L. So 2 pi and frequency is 50. Okay. And L is 0.21 Henry. So 2 into 22 by 7. Yes, said that take pi as 22 by 7 because calculation will become a little easier, it seems. Okay. In fact, I can write it as, just a second. This 2 into 50, I will write at 100. 100 pi is 22 by 7 and then 0.21. So this will become 66 ohm. How did I do this? Because this is 0.03 and then multiplied by 100. So 322 into 3 is 66. So this is given to be 66 ohm and this resistance is given to be 88 ohm. Can you see? 88 ohm. Now, what is the value of the current here? How much current is flowing? Don't show the direction by arrow. Don't show arrow because the direction keeps changing. Now here, we can get this answer even without any phasor diagram because we know that impedance Z is given by root over R square plus XL square. You know, so root over 88 square plus 66 square. Now, obviously, here 11 will be taken as common. So 8 square plus 6 square. Now 8 square plus 6 square is a very common Pythagorean triangle, just like 3 square plus 4 square is equal to 5 square. So similarly, 6 square plus 8 square is equal to 10 square. So it is 110 ohm. This is impedance. Impedance is also ohm. So you found impedance from here. Now current, RMS current can be found as RMS voltage by impedance. RMS voltage is 220 volt and impedance is 110 ohm. Just now we found. So 2 ampere of current is flowing. Okay. So we have been able to find the current. Okay. Find the current. So current has here, we have to fill in with 2 ampere. And now find the phase angle between current and source voltage. So this source voltage and this current, what is the phase angle? So for that, again, we can use formula, but we should draw phasor diagram. In the phasor diagram, the first phasor we should draw. Okay, I will take help of this arrow now today. The first phasor we should draw is always the current phasor. So this is the current phasor. Now VR phasor is in the same direction. Let me copy this diagram, even though there is no need of that, but I don't want to scroll up so much up and down. So just to save myself from scrolling, I'm copying this diagram. Okay, I'm copying this. Now here, this voltage across resistor we will call VR. This voltage across inductor we will call VL, and this source voltage we will call V, which is already given to be 220 volt, and this current is I. This current is I. When we draw the phasor diagram, the first phasor we should draw is the current phasor. So this is the current phasor. Now we should focus on this thing, resistor. Voltage across resistor and current through resistor are in same phase. So VR phasor will be in the same direction as current phasor, like this. So this is our VR phasor. Okay, and it is I into R. Now okay, now VR phasor is done. Now VL phasor. Now voltage across inductor, and current through inductor are not in same phase. In fact, VL phasor is above 90° above the current phasor. So with respect to this is my reference vector. With respect to this, VL phasor will be in this direction. Clear? So this will be the VL phasor. And let me write this as VL, which is equal to I into XL. Now, if this vector and this vector are added together, we should get this vector, or rather phasor, isn't it? Yeah. So this phasor and this phasor we are adding, and when we add, we will get this phasor. Oh my God, what is that? I wanted to change this color. Yeah. So which phasor is this? This is the source voltage. Okay. This is the source voltage. And this is the angle that we are supposed to find. This is the angle that we are supposed to find. The phase difference between current phasor and source voltage. So what will be that angle equal to? So in this triangle, tan phi, in this triangle, tan phi will be this by this. Now this is nothing but VL. So VL by VR. Now VL can be written as I into XL, and VR can be written as I into R. I got cancelled out. So XL by R. In fact, you can memorize this as a formula. And in fact, I think you already knew this. And there was no need of drawing these phasor diagrams. If it was an exam, I would have directly applied this formula, and I would have got the value of tan phi, or rather phi. Phi is tan inverse of XL. XL was how much? See, here it is already written. So XL was 66 and R is 88. So it is one of our favorite value, 3/4, tan inverse of 3/4. Now, you know, tan inverse of 3/4 is 37°. Okay, I think you all must be knowing it. So this is it. This was the question. How simple these questions are. Any doubt to any student? Salunga. Simple, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's continue the LCR circuit that I had left yesterday. Let me do this quick revision. LCR circuit we had already studied. There was a small little graph I wanted to draw. That graph was not drawn yesterday. So I will go back to the LCR circuit, because obviously out of all the circuits, LCR is the most commonly asked, because it contains everything. So We have a resistor, we have a capacitor, we have an inductor connected to an AC source. Okay. Now here we will write only the RMS values. So this voltage is V. This voltage across resistor is VR. Voltage across capacitor is VC. Voltage across inductor is VL. These values will be given to you. So this resistance is R, capacitance is given, but whenever capacitance is given, we will find XC. You know, XC is 1 by omega C, and omega is 2 pi F, which most of the time is 100 pi, because most of the time frequency is 50 Hertz. And this, instead of writing L, I will write XL. XL is omega into L. Okay. And then a current I is flowing in this circuit. Okay. Now, yeah. Now how to draw phasor diagram? To draw phasor diagram, the first thing we will draw is always the current phasor. So let me draw the current phasor first. This is the current phasor. Then we should focus on the resistor. Voltage across resistor are in the same direction as current through resistor. So voltage VR phasor will be in the same direction as current. Then we will focus on the VC. Voltage across capacitor is 90° behind current. So this was the current. Okay, this was the current. So compared to this, okay, I can make it a little thick because actually that is the most, you can say, reference phasor. We take current as the reference phasor. So with respect to this current, VC, voltage across capacitor, will be 90° behind. And then look at the VL phasor. Now with respect to the current, see, current is common to all three. Whatever is the current through resistor. So this phasor, I phasor, this blue colored phasor, there is only one blue color phasor because there is only one current. But there will be 4 these yellow color phasors because there are 4 voltages, 1, 2, 3, and this one. However, this one I will represent with a different color because it is the net voltage. But there will be 4 voltage phasors. Okay, now VL phasor will be 90° ahead of this current phasor. So with respect to current, VL is voltage across inductor is 90° ahead. So this will be your VL phasor. Now out of this VL phasor and VC phasor, here I have shown VL phasor to be greater in size. You see this arrow size, I have drawn greater than this. But which one will actually be bigger? That depends on out of XL and XC, which one is greater. See, if XL is greater, VL will be greater. If XC is greater, VC will be greater. All these things were explained to you yesterday. So this is your VR phasor. This is VL phasor. This is VC phasor. VC is I into XC. VL is I into XL. VR is I into R. Now we have to add these 3 yellow colored phasors because these 3 voltages, if you add, you should get this voltage. Vectorially adding, not direct adding, vectorially adding. So we have to add these 3. Okay, in order to add, first we have to add these 2. Okay, so I will copy paste this diagram first. And then this and this is to be added. So when you add this and this one will get shorter. This one will get shorter in size. And this one is removed. Any problem? Now, how much is this? This is VL minus VC, which will be equal to I into XL minus XC. Now, if VL is greater, then the remaining will be upward, as it is in this case. If VC was greater, then this, when you after adding these 2, remaining would have been downward. I have explained this And if these two are equal, then they will get cancelled out, and that is called resonance. So now finally this yellow colored vector and this yellow colored phasor has to be added. So let's create a parallelogram and let's add. When you add, you get this phasor. That is which phasor? This is which phasor? This is the source voltage phasor. So this is your source voltage phasor, V phasor. Okay. Of course, it is repetition. I am not teaching anything new today till now. Nothing new have been taught to you. It's all repetition. Now from here we can say that V is equal to root over of VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. Okay. Now VR can be written as I into R. So I can be taken outside, outside like this. This is called impedance. So I into Z, or in other words, I is equal to V by Z. And what about that angle phi, the phase difference between the source voltage and the current? Well, in this case, voltage is leading, current is lagging behind. However, that will not always be true. This is true because here VL was greater. If VC was greater, then this diagram would have been like this, and this would have been the voltage phasor, and this would have been the angle. So here voltage is lagging if VC was greater, but if VL is greater, then this is the shape of the diagram. So tan phi will be this minus this by this, tan phi will be this by this. Now this is nothing but VL minus VC, and this is nothing but VR, and I will get cancelled out. So as it is clear from the diagram, tan phi is equal to XL minus XC by R. So this is also done. This is also done. Okay. Now, in case of resonance, what happens? In case of resonance, XL and XC are equal. Now, that is one thing which I'll write once more. In case of resonance, XL and XC are equal. In other words, omega L is equal to 1 by omega C. In other words, omega is equal to 1 by root LC. And this is called resonant angular frequency. We can represent it with dot, omega dot. Okay. Or omega naught, whatever. Okay. Now, how will this phasor diagram look like? So for that, let me copy this. In case of resonance, how will this phasor diagram look like? So in case of resonance, these two will be exactly equal. These two will be exactly equal. Okay, why? Because see, XL is equal to XC. So I into XL is equal to I into XC. So these two will be exactly equal. And if these two are exactly equal, then these two will simply cancel out each other. So these two, this and this, will cancel out each other. Okay. So how will your phasor diagram look like? So your phasor diagram will be simply this part. Simply this part. Isn't it? And this itself, this phasor itself, of course, it is VR phasor, but then that will be equal to the source voltage also. Because this is the only remaining part. What is the phase difference between current and source voltage? No phase difference. Okay. In case of resonance, no phase difference. So in case of resonance, I and V are in same phase. And what will become the impedance of the circuit? Impedance of the circuit will become what? Impedance will simply become R, because XL and XC cancels out. Nothing new has been taught. Everything is revision of yesterday's class. Now it's time to do something new. Okay, so there is a very famous graph of current versus angular frequency or frequency. This is a very famous graph. Okay, see, we know for LCR circuit, of course, we are drawing it for LCR circuit. We know I is equal to V by Z. That means V by Z. Z can be written as R square plus XL minus XC whole square. Or we can write it as R square plus, well, in place of XL, omega L. In place of XC, 1 by omega C square. Fine. Now this is what we will observe closely, and we will try to get some information from here. Okay, which graph we are planning to draw? We are planning to draw current versus omega graph. So here, what are the sort of variable thing you can think of? So see, this current and this omega. So omega are at two places, here as well as here. One omega is in the denominator, one omega is over here in the numerator. Yeah, overall it's in the denominator, but I'm talking about this part. Okay, now just a sec, let me show the axis first. So here we go. On this axis current, and on this axis omega. Now just look at this. It's all there in this graph, in this equation. If omega is very small, let's say this much, which is almost zero, omega is here, then what will be the value of the current? So let's focus on this part. If omega is very small, okay, almost zero, then you know this part will be infinity. 1 by 0, almost 0 is infinity. So this entire part will be infinity. So current will become V by infinity. Am I correct? If omega tends to 0, not exactly 0, but tends to 0, then this part will become 1 by 0, at least tends to 0. So that will be infinity. So this entire part will be infinity. So current will be 0. So when omega is very small, current is very small. Now omega can't be exactly 0, because you know, if omega becomes 0, then the circuit becomes DC circuit. Yeah, DC circuit. Because there will be no change in the EMF. Okay, anyway, so for a very small value of omega, current will be very, very small. Now let's look at very large value of omega. So if omega is very large, tending to infinity, then let's see what happens. So if omega is very large, then this quantity, here there is omega, that will be infinity. And this will be 1 by infinity, 1 by infinity is 0. So infinity minus 1 by infinity is actually infinity only. So this part will again become infinity. Okay, you have to understand this. This is very interesting and very simple also, not complicated. So if omega is very large, again this part is infinity. See, this part is infinity, or at least tending to infinity. In both cases, if omega is very small, if omega tends to 0, then this part is infinity and this part is 0. 0 minus infinity is minus infinity, but then you are squaring it, so basically infinity. So when omega is 0, this part in the denominator is infinity. And when omega tends to infinity, then this part will become infinity and this part will become 0. So infinity minus 0 is infinity, and when you square it, again infinity. So again, denominator will tend to infinity. Any problem? So I will write this so that it becomes more clear to you. For omega tending to 0, current will be V by root over R square plus 0 minus 1 by 0 square. Well, it's not exactly 0, please understand, because in mathematics, division by 0 is not allowed. So that is why I'm not saying omega equal to 0. I'm saying omega tending to 0. So it is not exactly equal to 0. It is tending to 0. So this part is infinity. So V by infinity. So current is 0. And then for omega tending to 0, what will be the current? Current is V by this. But that, sorry, oh my God, why tending to 0, man? Tending to 0, I have already done. Now I'm saying tending to infinity. So this will be infinity minus 1 by infinity square. So V by root over R square plus infinity square. So it is again infinity. So again current is 0. That means just a moment. Yeah. Okay. So that means this graph sorry, let me do this once more. Okay. So how will this graph look like? For a small value of omega, current is 0. For large value of omega, current is again 0. So this graph will look like this. Okay. And in fact, this is the position. This is the position. And by the way, I will extend it a little bit. By the way, yeah, this is the position where omega is omega naught. If omega is omega naught, then XL and XC circuit will be in resonance. So right here, omega naught, you know, omega naught is resonant angular frequency. So right here, Z is minimum. If Z is minimum, current is maximum. And how much will be that maximum current? That maximum current will be, see, normally current is V by Z, but here Z has become R. So this is max current. Okay. So this is how your graph will look like. Which graph? This is I versus omega graph. Okay. I will write this part. When omega is omega naught, that is omega is 1 by root LC, the circuit is in resonance. Okay. circuit is in resonance. That means XL and XC are cancelling out each other. That means impedance, impedance is root over R square plus 0 square, because XL minus XC is there. So current is normally V by Z, but here current will become V by R. So that will be the maximum current. Any problem? Now this is your LCR circuit. Now what happens if the circuit is simply LC circuit? If the circuit is simply LC circuit, now please remember, please understand that this LC circuit is not the LC circuit which we had studied in the previous chapter of electromagnetic induction. There we were studying LC oscillatory circuit not connected to any source. This time we are going to connect the L and C with an AC source. So here,
Sir,
yeah,
1 second, little bit can you scroll up, sir?
yeah, I will. So this is the source voltage, this is the capacitor, this is the inductor, and the resistance is 0. Okay. So in this case, we don't have to do any special thing. We don't have to do any special thing. Here, what will become the impedance? The impedance is, as you know, this is the impedance. Now put R equal to 0. So we don't study LC circuit separately. Okay. So it is simply XL minus XC. Now why am I putting mod sign? Because if I don't put mod sign, then sometimes impedance will become negative, but we know impedance can never be negative. It's just like resistance. Fine. And what about current? Current is V by XL minus XC. Okay. And what about this graph? Now this graph is very interesting. Which graph? This graph. What will be this graph? For LC circuit. For LC circuit, I'll just show you, don't worry, everything will be clear in front of you. So we are drawing I versus omega graph. And this one I have to remove. Now see, listen, if omega equal to omega naught, then XL will be equal to XC. So what will be the current? V by 0, or at least tending to 0. So current will become infinity. So this graph will look like this. It will go up to infinity and then it will fall like this. I hope you understood what I'm trying to say. So this is how this graph will look like in case of LC circuit, because R tends to 0. You can see from here also. You can see from here also. What was the maximum current? It was V by R. But what if R itself is 0? What if instead of LCR circuit, it is simply LC circuit? So there is no R. So R is 0. So I max will be infinity. So this graph will reach its maxima, but at the point of maxima, it will go up to infinity because I max will become infinity. And then again, it will fall down like this. Okay. Any problem? So at omega equal to omega naught, circuit is in resonance. So here impedance will become 0 because R is 0, because there is no resistance. So I max will become infinity. And that is what I am showing with the help of this graph also. Okay. So if R tending to 0, then we get LC circuit, and this is what will happen. Any doubt till now? Tell me. Okay. I hope no doubt. Now, let's come to the next page and let me teach you something else. That is power dissipated in a circuit or power delivered by an AC source. So power in AC circuit. Now I have already talked about it a little bit in one of the type of circuit, like in RC circuit and in LR circuit. I had already talked about it seriously. But here, suppose I'm talking about a general AC circuit. Consider a general AC circuit. So consider a general AC circuit where you have something called circuit element. So here there is a box. Inside this box we have circuit elements. Now circuit elements, anything can be there. There can be a simple resistor. Okay, I'll talk about this. First of all, let me draw this. And then you have this AC source connected to this. And here I'm not saying circuit element, I'm saying elements. That means more than one. Now there are many possibilities over here. We can have a simple resistive circuit. In that case, this circuit element will consist of only one R. We can have an RC circuit. So then inside this circuit elements, we have R and C. Or we can have an LR circuit, or we can have LCR also, or we can have far more complications. We can have something like this much complicated. This. Anything is possible. Now, obviously, this is too complicated a circuit. We are never going to study this. Okay. Now, this entire thing is inside this circuit element. This part is inside this box. Okay. Now here, now come back to this. Now, suppose I'm drawing instantaneous diagram. So the instantaneous voltage is V0 sine omega t. And now here I can show the direction because this is instantaneous diagram. How do I know this is instantaneous diagram? I'm not writing instantaneous diagram. How do I know it is instantaneous diagram? Because I'm writing a small letter. Here also a small letter. Now current will be I0 sine omega t. Will it be, is there guarantee that current will be in the same phase as this voltage? If the phase of voltage is omega t, is it guaranteed that the phase of current will also be omega t? No, sir. There is no guarantee. In fact, we have already seen only in purely resistive circuit, current phase angle and voltage phase angle will be same. Otherwise, current, there will always be some difference between current and voltage. So let that phase difference be phi. Now, what is the phase of the current? It is omega t plus phi. What is the phase of the voltage? It is omega t. So what is the phase difference? It is omega t plus phi. Okay. So here, phi is the phase difference between current and voltage as shown. Now, what is power delivered by this AC source? See, there is a current flowing like this. Whenever current flows through a source, it delivers power. Like in case of a simple DC circuit, okay, forget about AC circuit, let's look at the DC circuit. And that too the simplest DC circuit, which is one resistor, one voltage, nothing else. Suppose I current is flowing. How much is the power delivered by this source? Power delivered by this source is V into I. Okay. How much is power dissipated in this resistor? Power dissipated in this resistor is I square into R. And obviously that I square into R, which is power dissipated in the resistor, that is equal to V into I, because that is whatever is the power delivered by this AC source, same is the power dissipated. Dissipated means wasted or generated in the resistor. Okay. Okay. Now in AC chapter, the problem is, in AC chapter, the problem is that this current and this voltage, they keep on changing because they are all function of time t. You see, at different time, this voltage will be different. And of course, the current will also be different. So when you apply voltage into current, you will get instantaneous power delivered by AC source. But that instantaneous power delivered by AC source will also be a variable quantity, because everything is a function of time t. Now in AC chapter, whenever we say power, we never mean instantaneous power. Like for example, you can look at your bulb. Nowadays, LED bulbs come. Earlier, incandescent bulbs used to be there. In incandescent bulbs, 100-watt bulb, 60-watt bulb, 40-watt bulb, these were the most common power outage powers. So incandescent bulb is nothing but a resistor. And suppose its power was 100 watt. It means 100 watt. It means in every 1 second, 100 joule of energy is being generated in it. 100 watt means 100 joule per second. But the problem is when you connect it to an AC source, the power generated in it will be different at different instants, because current will not be constant. So I square R will also not be constant. So this power, how can we say it is 100 watt? It has to be different at different instants. In fact, sometimes when the current is zero, power will be zero. Instantaneous power generated in the resistor should be zero at that time. So this 100 watt is actually the average power. In AC, instantaneous power is the useless quantity, the most useless quantity. We get nothing out of instantaneous power. Whenever we talk of power, we always talk of average power. So on an average, in every 1 second, 100 joule of energy was being generated in this resistor. So yeah, so instantaneous power delivered by AC source, instantaneous power delivered by AC source, P inst will be V inst multiplied by I inst. Now here there was no need of using inst word because we are using, but I've just wrote V inst. So that is V naught sine omega t multiplied by I naught sine omega t plus phi. Okay. So you get V naught I naught sine omega t into sine omega t plus phi. Fine. This was instantaneous power. But in AC, instantaneous power is of no use. In AC, instantaneous power is of no use. Okay. always deal with average power. We always deal with average power. Okay. So whenever we say power, we mean average power. So power in AC means average power. Always. Okay. So how to find average power? Well, we already know how to find average power. In fact, we already know how to find average of any function. What is the method? The method is that instantaneous quantity, you integrate it for one time period and divide it by the same interval, you will get the average value of that function. While studying RMS values, we had done lots of calculation like this. So this will be 1 by capital T, 0 to capital T, and then instantaneous power was how much? I had written just here, this one. See, so let me write that. So V naught I naught sine omega t into sine omega t plus phi. Now here the integration of this can be done only if we use a little bit of trigonometry. Okay, we use 2 sine A sine B formula. 2 sine A sine B is equal to cos of A plus B minus, or rather cos of A minus B minus cos of A plus B. Am I correct? So using this, we can do this integration, but I will skip that part. There is frankly no need of it. You can do it yourself if you are so interested. What is important is the final result. Okay. So when we do this integration and when we put the limit, and don't forget capital T is basically 2 pi by omega. Time period is 2 pi by omega. So when we do this integration, after skipping the steps, we get V naught I naught by 2 cos phi. This is what we get. This is what we get. Okay. So this thing can be written as, so this is basically we are getting average power or simply power. In fact, you don't have to write average. Okay. When I write power, it means average only. So I can write like this, V naught by root 2 into I naught by root 2 into cos phi. Okay. Now V naught by root 2 is VRMS. I naught by root 2 is IRMS into cos phi. So this is the power delivered by AC source. Okay. This is the power delivered by AC source. This is a very famous formula. Power delivered by AC source. Now, one more little thing here, this cos phi is called power factor of the circuit. Okay. Here, this cos phi quantity is called power factor of the circuit. Okay, cos phi is called power factor of the circuit. Fine. Now, there is one more thing which is called wattless current. So let's study wattless current. Let me just see. Yeah. Okay, let me do wattless current in the next page. So there is one more quantity called wattless current, and I will show you what this quantity is all about. Wattless current. Okay. See, suppose, I mean, let me copy that diagram from this page, this diagram. Let me copy it to the next page because I don't want to draw this diagram once more. I want to save a little bit of time. So here I copied this. Okay. So what is it? Well, we have an AC source connected to circuit elements, and phi is the phase difference between current and voltage. Fine. Now, if we draw phasor diagram, the phasor diagram will look like this. Phasor diagram. Suppose we draw phasor diagram and current phasor is like this. You know, current phasor is always drawn horizontally, and voltage phasor is supposed like this. Just by looking at this circuit, can you tell me which circuit is it? LR or RC? Out of these two, which circuit is this? RC or LR? Out of these two, which circuit is this? Obviously, this is current and this is voltage. The blue colored is always current. I am always, in all my phasor diagrams, you may notice that I am drawing blue colored phasor as current phasor. Can you tell me RC or LR?
RC.
It is RC only. Absolutely. Very good. It is RC. Because in RC, VC used to be below this VC and VR was like this. And when you add VR and VC, you used to get V like this. Okay. So it was RC. However, if I show this voltage like this, now what? Now which type of circuit is this? Out of these two? Now it is LR because see, VR used to be like this. VR is always in the same direction as current and VL was upward. And when you used to add VL and VR, we used to get this voltage. Okay, fine. So this is the voltage phasor. This is the current phasor. And just a sec. Yeah. Now this was the angle phi. This angle is phi. Now suppose we resolve this current. Listen, suppose we resolve this current. One along the voltage and one perpendicular to the, and when I say voltage, you know, it means source voltage. Voltage means source voltage. So suppose we resolve this current. We consider this to be one of the axis and this to be the other axis. So from the top of this current, we draw two perpendiculars. In order to resolve it, this is how we resolve. Na? From the tip of this, we draw perpendiculars, and then one component will be from here till here, and one component will be from here till here. This component will be I cos phi, and this component will be I sin phi. Am I correct? Yeah. Now I delete, I'm removing these unnecessary parts. They are of no use. Now, what is the power? What is the power delivered by AC source? Power delivered by AC source. Do we have a formula just now derived? Yeah, just now we derived the formula, na, VI cos phi, with the help of this integration. Even though I did not do this integration, I skipped this. From here to here, I directly came. I saved myself from this mathematics. Okay, this was the formula for power. So this is what I'm writing again. Now, if you notice this, this is V into the component of this current in the direction of voltage. I mean, this I cos phi is what? Component of I along V, isn't it? Now, what about this component? Does this component of current is this component of current not responsible for power? Answer is yes. This component of current, see, this was the current, we resolved it into two components. This component of current is coming into the formula for power. So this component of current is definitely responsible for the power. But this component of current is not responsible for the power at all. Is not responsible for the power at all. That means this component of current is called wattless component of current, is called wattless current. Okay, this component of current is called wattless current. Wattless current. Okay, so from here we get the formula that wattless current is equal to I sin phi. You can treat it as a formula also. You can consider this as a formula also. Okay, now we can look at various cases, like for R circuit, for purely resistive circuit, current phasor and voltage phasor are in the same direction. I'm saying purely resistive circuit. So what is the wattless component of current? Can anybody tell me what is the wattless component of current here? Zero. All this current was wattful. See, what is, okay, what is the opposite word, antonym of wattless? You can say wattful, even though there is no word like wattful, but you can say, I have devised this word wattful, wattless, wattful. So here, this current is wattful current because it is along V. So wattless component is zero. So here wattless current is zero. Now, what was for the purely capacitive circuit? For purely capacitive circuit, well, current phasor was like this, and voltage phasor was like this. Of course, So what is the wattless component of current? Or rather, what is the wattful component of current? Well, there is no component of current along the voltage, so wattful is zero. So wattless is this entire current. So wattless current is equal to entire current. Entire current. That means I. Now, similarly, for inductive circuit, this is the current, and this used to be the voltage. So what is the wattful component of current? Zero, because all the current was at 90 degree. So here, what is the wattless component? Wattless current. Again, entire current is wattless only. Entire current is wattless only. Okay. Now, what about RC circuit? Now I have done enough of it. So what about RC circuit? So for RC circuit, this was the current. This was the voltage phasor. Sorry, not voltage phasor, VR phasor. This was the VC phasor. And this was the source voltage. Okay. And this angle was phi. So if you resolve this I into two components, this component will be watt full component and this component will be wattless component. So what will be wattless? Now here I'm not resolving because, yeah. So what will be wattless current? This time it will be I sin phi. Okay. And now sin phi you can calculate. No? In this triangle, can you calculate sin phi or not? Of course, man. If you know tan phi, you know sin phi, cos phi, everything. So you should be able to find the wattless component of the current. Okay, now, so this is it. I'm not showing the other parts like LR circuit, LCR circuit, because anytime it is I sin phi. Okay. So here, one very important point. I will draw that diagram once more. Which diagram? Yeah, this diagram where we have circuit element. So we have circuit elements inside this box, and then we have this AC source. Okay. Now this voltage is, now this time I will not show instantaneous. I can show instantaneous, not a problem, but I will show the RMS. And the current is I. And they are not in the same phase. They have a phase difference of phi. So what is power delivered by AC source? What is power delivered by AC source? Of course, we know it. Power delivered by AC source, it is VI cos phi, na? Where cos phi is called power factor. Cos phi is called power factor. Okay, so that is power delivered by AC source. Let me put that also inside a box. Now, what is power consumed by these circuit elements? Power consumed by circuit elements. This is okay. What is power consumed by circuit elements? You know, in one of the classes, like in the yesterday last class only, I had told you that only resistor consumes power. Inside this circuit element, suppose there is a resistor, a capacitor, and an inductor. Okay. So in place of this, suppose these three are there. And the current is flowing through it. Now, a resistor will consume power. But capacitor will not consume any power, even though current is flowing. But capacitor doesn't consume any power. Inductor also doesn't consume any power on an average. So power consumed by circuit element will be simply I square R. Okay. So in AC, power is consumed only by resistor. In AC circuit, now this is not new thing for you, because in one of the circuits I had already written this also. It will be there in your class notes, you can check. In AC circuit, power is consumed only by resistor. Okay, the capacitor and inductor does not consume any power. Any power on an average, even though instantaneously they may consume power on an average. Okay, so that is why power consumed is simply I square R. Now interestingly, power delivered, okay, power delivered, who delivers power? AC source. And who consumes power? Resistor. And they are actually equal. Power delivered had a formula VI cos phi, and power consumed is I square R. You can check yourself that they are actually equal, and I will actually, should I leave it for you? I will do it right in front of you just to show you that they are actually equal. They are actually equal. Okay, these two are equal. These two are always equal. These two are always equal for any circuit. Just to prove it, let me take the example of RC circuit. Take an example of RC circuit. Take an example of RC circuit. Okay. In RC circuit, I'll just take one example and everything will be clear to you. You will not have any doubt how come they are equal, because they don't look like equal, but they are equal. So this is too thick, man. So here is the current phasor. Here is the VR phasor. Here is the VC phasor. Okay. Just a second. Yeah, this one. Fine. Now, if we add these two phasors, using what? Using our parallelogram law, VR and VC, I will write this is VR. Okay, let me write here itself. This is VR, which is I into R. This is VC, which is I into XC. And this is I. And when we add these two, we get this phasor. And this is your V phasor. And this angle is the phi angle. Now, what is power delivered? It is VI cos phi. Okay. Now, what is cos phi? In this triangle, can you tell me what is cos phi? Cos phi is base by hypotenuse. Base is from here till here. Hypotenuse is from here till here in this triangle. So VR by V, come on, VR by V. So that means I into VR, V got cancelled. And you know VR is how much? VR is I into R. So I square R. And that's it, proven. So that is power consumed. Who consumes power? Resistor consumes power. Who delivers power? The AC source delivers power. And whatever is the power delivered by AC source, the formula is Vi cos phi, and power consumed by resistor, the formula is I square R, but actually these two always give us the same result because they are actually same. This is the proof. Clear? Okay. Okay. So now, just a moment. Now this is over. I'm looking for a question. I'm looking at a simple question which I can solve in next 1 or 2 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, let's solve this question. This question, let me. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So here is the question. Read it. Read it. Okay, let me read. An electric bulb is designed to consume 55-watt power when operated at 110 volts. But it is connected to a 220 volt, 50 hertz line. Line means AC source. Through a choke coil. Choke coil, you know what? Choke coil means what? Choke coil means an inductor along with some resistor. So choke coil means that there is an inductor with inherent resistor. So choke coil means an inductor with inherent resistor. But sometimes that resistance can be zero. But sometimes that resistance can be taken or can be zero. So basically choke coil means inductor. Okay. So choke coil means inductor. Now come back to this question. So there is an electric bulb designed to operate at, okay, first of all, let's look at this electric bulb. The bulb we have a bulb which can sustain voltage up to 110 volt only. How do we know? Because an electric bulb is designed to consume this much of when operated at 110 volt. That means this bulb has to be operated at only 110 volt, maybe lesser than this, but not greater than this. If you operate this bulb at a higher voltage, more power than this will be generated and the bulb will get fused. So what is the resistance of this bulb? Let us find resistance of this bulb. Let us find resistance of the bulb. Now resistance of the bulb can be easily found because this is the bulb. Okay. When the potential difference across this is 110 volt, then how much power is consumed? 55 watt. Okay, so I can use power is equal to V square by R formula. Now you may say, sir, why not I square R? Why not I square R? Of course, you can use I square R also, but the problem is you don't know I. Okay, so that is why I'm going to rather use V square by R formula. Now the power is given to be 55. V is 110 square is equal to R. So R will be 110 into 110 divided by 55. So that comes out to be 220 ohm. So now we know resistance of this bulb. Is that correct? Have I done any mistake here? No, seems to be correct. Fine. Now what if this bulb is connected to a 220 volt? Well, it will get fused because it was only to be used up till 110 volt. You can't use it for 220 volt. So it will get fused. But in order to save itself from getting fused, we connect an inductor. Choke coil means inductor. And here we will take inductor resistance of that inductor to be 0. Sometimes that resistance of an inductor can be taken to be 0. Na? So what should be inductor? So now that bulb is there, whose resistance we have just now calculated 220 ohm. It is to be connected to the choke coil along with a 220 volt AC source. Along with a 220 volt AC source, comma 50 hertz. I'm not writing 50 hertz. So what should be the inductance of this? So that the power generated on it in it is still the same. That means basically we want voltage across this inductor to be how much? To be 110 volts only. We don't want more voltage across this inductor, because if the voltage across this inductor is more than 110 volts, more power will be generated and this bulb will get fused. Okay. So we want VR to be, so what is VL? Now you know what to do. You know what to do. You can say that VR square plus VL square is equal to V square. Isn't it? Now VR is 110 volts. Actually, there was no need of finding resistance. You know, this was wastage of effort. Now I'm realizing that this was wastage of effort. So 110 volt square plus VL square, or maybe no, it is not wastage of effort. Actually, it will be needed. Okay, is equal to V. V is 220 volts. Correct. So from here we get VL as 110 root 3 volts. I did this calculation a little fast. You know, you get it on that side and then take 2 common, or rather 110 common. So you will have root over 2 square minus 1 square. Root 2 square is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So root over 3. You know, that's what. So we know voltage across inductor is this. Now voltage across inductor can be written as I into XL. By the way, how much I will be there? How much I will be there? How much current will be there? Current can be found by using voltage by impedance. Fine. This voltage is given. Okay. So current can be found as voltage by root over R square plus XL square. Okay, this is current. Now from here, I can also say that I into XL is equal to 110 into root 3. Now let's get the value of I from here to here. So V by root over R square plus XL square into XL is equal to 110 by 110 root 3. And this V is 220 volt. Okay, this V is 220 volts. So it's better that here itself I write 220. And here also I'll write 220. You know, this I am taking from here only. Na? So now XL by root over R square plus XL square is equal to what? Is equal to root 3 by 2. Come on, just go there and divide it. Let's square all both the terms and let's invert also. So you will have R square plus XL square divided by XL square is equal to 4 by 3. I'm inverting it and squaring it. So you have R by XL whole square plus 1. This is simple calculation. Okay, anybody can do it. It's just that I am doing it because I don't want to leave this question in the middle. Now get it on this side. So 1 by 3 and then root over 1 by 3. So 1 by root 3. Now R is given. I mean, it was not given. We had calculated. So XL is R into root 3. R, you know how much it had come out to be? Let me show you. Let me show you. The resistance of this bulb had come out to be 220 ohm. So 220 root 3 ohm. Now this thing, XL, can be written as omega into L. So 100 pi, omega is 100 pi. So from here we get L as 22 by 10 root 3 Henry. This is the answer. Of course, this can be cancelled with 2 more. Okay. So 11 root 3 by 5 Henry is the answer. This much of inductance should be put over there. If you put this much of inductance in this circuit, then what will happen? Then what will happen is that the voltage across resistor will remain 110 volt, and this resistor is designed to operate at 110 volts only. This resistor is just another name of bulb. Bulb is nothing but resistance only. Okay. So that's it. So that was the solution of this question.